Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BigSin Podcast. I am your host, Sinji, my co-host, Big Tone Son,
Yo,
and regular frequent guest, Urbanator.
What up?
So I'm doing things a little different this week. Instead of like dwelling on a theme and a topic and like trying to find something to talk about, which I know we've been pretty heavy on games lately. I'm just kind of just gonna talk this week. Also, before we actually get started, the first Sunday after July 1st, we will be listening to Sean Rock's new song Church. That's when it's officially released. I've already listened to it. I like it. We're going to play for all of you, and we're going to talk about some music, go back to a music topic. And was there something else? No, that's about it. I mean, if this COVID stuff happens to die down before July 1st, which I doubt it, we'll try to set up a actual listening party with Sean. But that's probably most likely not going to happen. So we'll still listen to it, unfortunately, without him. But we'll listen to it and give our thoughts and opinions and have a music day. With that being said, me, Big Tone, and Irby, after 3 days of trying with a friend of ours, Steve, got into Bunker 11 in Warzone. Anybody want to express how difficult and annoying that was?
Shit, it wasn't too bad. Just had to make it do what it do, baby.
I lost all faith in humanity.
Nah,
Nah,
it was
man.
terrible.
Our best runs were always when the circle was not in the military base.
That was more stressful than watching my wife give birth.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how
Damn.
stressful that is, but I'll take your word for it.
Shit. Yeah, I gotta believe you on that one. You say that's the case.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah,
right.
the
stressful.
from
Uh,
getting the numbers to flying around and trying to fight people with just a pistol. It's pretty bad.
Poor Steve had to learn Russian in order to do this.
We
Yeah.
ain't even learn it right. We got it wrong half the time.
Yeah.
And then
Granted,
the and then
that thing fucking speaks fast, man. That thing is hard.
it is hard.
That's what she said. But
Mm.
yeah, I never listened to it, so I didn't know. But yeah, the get the one time we were close and shit, we got jumped by a team. It was just one of us on the last phone. And that's the thing. You couldn't get in there with everyone had to go their separate ways to actually make it truly work.
It was almost better and easier when like someone died and made it out to like land in the spot we needed them to be.
Yeah. I think the one time we got it open, I landed, but I was too far from the bunker.
Guys, I got in there. I got in there and I was maybe 3 feet away from the blueprint because we were after the MP5 blueprint, or is it MP7?
I know it's something.
It's on
What is
MP5
it? The
or
mud
MP7.
diver?
Yeah,
I think it's an MP7.
right. Is there an MP5 in duty?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. So that was 3 days worth of trying. A couple hours each day. And oh man, I tell you, when these people put a lot of pressure on me, man, they put a lot of pressure on me. I always somehow ended up being the last one alive, flying around with a helicopter. Then my helicopter get destroyed. I have to find the last switch and drive all the way to the military base that's being engulfed by gas. That sucked.
Man, pressure bust pipes.
It was fun though.
Yeah, it was a good time, except for when Steve tell us the wrong number and we are.
That's not it. So what? What do you mean that's not it? I mean that's not it. So how do you know it went? He's like, what? It's like the phone went.
It was fun though. Enjoyed running around, getting shot up. Then had to get what that stressful was playing regular Warzone.
Yeah, Warzone's already stressful enough, and just adding that to the mix made things 10 times worse.
You know what's I've been I listen to Pandora a lot, right, guys? And you know what's something I
Yeah.
noticed about Pandora? Unless you're listening to Eminem, if you put any white rapper and make a playlist, they will only give you white rappers.
Mm, I never noticed that.
I was just like, yo, why are they only giving me white rappers? I like black rappers too. I like a little Tupac and Biggie and depending on the songs, Lil Wayne and you can skip all the Drake shit. He's not even black. He's Canadian. He's half black, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you can't be black just because you're from Canada?
Canadian's Canadian.
Yeah, but you still of the African American descent.
Canadian people are African American.
If you black, yeah, you just born in Canada.
Nah, nigga, you can be black and not be African American.
How?
I don't know. You could be Haitian. You could be some other shit.
Yeah, it's
Nigerian,
still black, but
but it
it's just
ain't
a
African
subset.
American.
Yeah, we all came from Africa because of Pangea, man.
Yo, you know what's funny about Pangea? Now that you mention that, that's actually something I wanted to talk about. TV shows have taught me more about life than school has ever has. I learned about Pangea through a cartoon.
I said that's because your educational system didn't even teach about states. Thought
Bro,
Minnesota was next to.
I had to ask a couple people about this because like, it was really fucking with my head. Like, yo, am I crazy or did like we not have to take geography? And they were like, nah, we didn't take geography. I'm like, all right, I thought I was fucking crazy.
I don't know how, because when I was going through school, we had to do we had to know all 50 states and the capital, and what else? And we had to do them all in like 5 minutes. So it was rough. Did you do that, Big Tone?
Yeah, I can tell you right now, I ain't past that shit.
Yeah, I passed. What got me too was doing the multiplication tables. Yeah, those
Nah,
we had to do those too. 2 minute multiplication tables where they gave you like I want to say it was like 50 equations you had to solve for,
Hmm.
and we had to like run them down, and then like 2 minutes is up, and you had to get them. But mind you, that some of these were like the same forward as going backwards. They just put it a different way to see if you get the same answer.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
realized.
gotta be,
Go ahead, Tom.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't remember a lot of that shit we did in school, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have been a lot better student than I was. I just, after fourth grade, I just stopped applying myself.
Yeah, I hear that. I say because there was a lot of stuff that I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, or I forget, or like especially going through high school, like the stuff I knew now, if I knew it in high school, then I probably would have applied myself more. Cause it's like,
Ye-
yeah, you know how it is. Like you learn stuff, and then it's like you're like, damn, I would have applied myself here. I could have been better.
Yeah, but I really didn't start becoming better at math until shit. I want to say maybe after college.
Do you
I
want
was
to know the only formula I use that I learned all through my years doing math?
what's up?
It's that one that you set x equal to whatever you need to figure out, and that's what you do.
Yeah,
and I use that in work all the time. I'm like, oh, this is the number I need right here. But other than that, I don't remember too much anything except for y equals mx plus b.
Nah, I'm pretty like the equations I've forgotten, but like if you show me once, then I can pretty much do uh every basic like geometry and maybe even pre-calc problem. It was funny. I was like
Yeah.
counting a load yesterday, and like I'm sure people already know about it, but like out of nowhere, it was just like, oh my god, there's a so much easier way to multiply by five. You just like take the number you're using and half it, then add a zero to it.
Dang. You taught me something new today.
It was like my mind was blown when I realized it.
Yeah. I said the one I like the nines trick
What was the nine
where
strip again?
you
I'm sure I think I know about it, but
whatever number you're doing, you just put your finger down and and just use nine. Like if it's 9 times 4 is 36, you put your fourth finger down.
I never heard of that trick.
I've heard
Yeah.
of it. It's just like I forgot about it. But so like have you guys like listened to anything new, watch anything new or anything interesting? Irby, you had an interesting topic that you wanted to discuss on this episode.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the games to give us, you know, the most satisfying relief once you like beat it. Since you know how we did Call of Duty all week, and we once we got to the bunker, we were like, yeah, this is great. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about games that we when we once you beat them, the best that it ever was, like released. I know for me, when I played the first game that I beat that was the best was playing Super Mario 64, and that was the third Bowser we played, and I remember it like it was yesterday because it was we played. I was asleep with my buddy Andre, and we were playing. He's like, "Yo, let's play Super Mario." I was like, "Oh, I ain't never beat it." And then so we played it in. I'm fighting the Bowser, and I can always get to like the two bomb blows up, and so I just do it. And there's a little kid. I was just like, "Yo, let me just throw him," and I threw him, and then it hit him. The third one, and we were like, "Oh my God, we beat it!" We were jumping around screaming, and then that was one of the most memorable releases for me. Like being a kid, I was stuck on that level for like months back in the day. But that was my one of my first games for 64. I don't know about y'all. Y'all have any stories like that?
So like was that like first or does that qualify for you as like both a boss and a game that like was satisfying to beat?
Yeah, for both. I would
Alright.
say for both. I
Cause
got
like
some more too.
oh, go for it.
No, I was just gonna get y'all input, and then I was gonna
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so like when I grew up, I didn't really have too many games. I was one of those kids that like started off outside and like transitioned to games. But um there was this like my uncle got me Spiral Year the Dragon for my birthday, and like for some reason I don't think I had a memory card when he got me it. So like the I would always get to like the first boss whenever I would play it, and like I'd ask my aunt to beat the first boss, and then like recently when the remaster came out, the Reignited trilogy or whatever, uh that boss turned out to be so easy. And because I was a kid I sucked. It was just like, bruh, I was trash.
Yeah, I think about that too. Some games I come back and then I'm like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be.
No, but like satisfying to beat, I don't really know. Like all games are pretty satisfying to beat. I say my most successful boss, just for like the type of game it is, and like how I'm not usually this type of gamer, was the Final Fantasy VII remake boss Sephiroth, because like that game, like it puts you in situations where you really can't have a attack first mindset, and you gotta really like equip people with shit to like support each other and be able to switch characters. And like anyone who's played a game with me, especially like a game that involves fighting, knows I'd rather just go in and attack, and if I die, I die.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
like the fact that like I had to pretty much change up my complete gaming style for this game, I think that was probably the more satisfying bosses I've defeated, because he definitely whipped my ass a lot.
Yeah. What about you, Tone?
Man,
I
I'm the
know
only
you
one.
talk about 2K.
I mean, most satisfying win was probably beating the Golden State Warriors in 2K19. I'm not gonna lie to you, in the NBA Finals,
Yeah, I was on when he was doing that one.
because that was stressful. Like it was nobody won an away game. It went all the way to Game 7, and anytime I played away, these motherfuckers were killing me, and I couldn't figure out how to stop them. So I finally said, you know what? I gotta I gotta go in and change my defense up. So I had my defense play tighter play tighter defense. But then the drawback from that is you leave the back door cut wide open. So what I had to do was control the center or the power forward to kind of take away that backdoor cut. And after I changed my settings going into Game 7, I blew them out. That was so satisfying, especially
Man,
considering that was the first time I won an NBA championship in association mode in 8 years.
Yeah.
So that was extremely gratifying.
on a like, kind of a side note, I feel like there's nothing more frustrating in a game of 2K, NBA 2K, than when like you're playing on, whether you're playing on Superstar or Hall of Fame. Like at the time, I was playing on Hall of Fame, so it get, as Tony knows, it gets really unfair. Like it doesn't make the enemy team better. It makes your team worse.
Basically.
So like a lot of the times you start off in these situations where like you're down by 20, and like there's nothing more frustrating than like bringing your team back from being 20 down, and then they bench you and you come back and you're down by 20 again. I'm just like, bruh.
Are you talking about when you play Superstar mode?
I was playing Hall of Fame at the time.
Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing more frustrating when you're playing against your buddy, and he do some crazy stuff, and and just beat you.
Oh,
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, you know what I mean? That time when we played and I tried to do my dribble move, and then somehow you just kept stealing it, and you weren't even right there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But my other satisfying win is, I played this card game called Yu-Gi-Oh, and and, and when I build this deck, and I go get this dude that got some cheese on there, and I'm like, yo, I can't beat this guy because of this cheese, and then I figure out a strategy and I beat him and I make him end up quitting the game. That'd be satisfying.
I wouldn't go that far about
Or you make
satisfying.
someone go buy a whole yeah, or you make someone go out buy a whole pack of cards just to beat you. But yeah, no, another game that was satisfying. It was Dynasty's Warriors 3. and it was me and my sister played, and she what was that lady? It was like Lou Roo or something, and I had like Lou Boo, and like we would spend hours playing this one level, and they just kept swarming us. And then the one day we just like beat it, and we just like, yeah, run around screaming. Mom comes in, what's wrong with y'all? What are y'all what are y'all doing? That's but those strategy games when you beat them are like the best feeling ever, in my opinion, for me.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like things that make me use my head. So like when like we play, it almost sucks having like the type of decks we have because like it takes almost like the risk out of the strategicness of it. It's kind of like, hey, if I draw these cards, I can basically put myself in a winning situation.
Yeah,
But that unfortunately that's just how what the game's come to.
yeah. I said there was back when I used to play heavy and Madden, it it was like I played a kid online and he thought he was gonna trash me, and then like at the last second I threw a Hail Mary and I got it, and then he ended up quitting the game right as soon as he knew I was gonna score. So yeah, and then he sent me a message calling me all sorts of smack talk. So
Man,
I was like,
I played Madden with Tony recently, and like I forgot how much I went up by, but this nigga kicked it into like overgear and like just destroyed. He wouldn't even let me do anything after that, knowing damn well I don't play the game.
yeah.
He was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna finesse the system." I was like, "Wait, what? Nah, let's not do that. That's not even right, bro. I don't play this game. I don't even know how to do that, let alone stop it."
Yeah,
It wasn't even right.
yeah, stuff like that. Uh, hey, what else was there? But the Splinter Cell series are always fun to when you beat them, you're like, yeah, I beat him. I got the last boss or something. Wasn't big into like RPG games.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think. I could think of a most satisfying feeling off the sticks was when I snapped together my last piece of my models. I'd like feel so accomplished.
So I've been hold on. Let me try to get the thought right. I've been reading Tower of God, as Irby knows. It's like a manga. For those who doesn't know what a manga is, it's basically the comic version of an anime. For those who doesn't know what an anime is, it's which in my opinion has way better stories than American cartoons, especially nowadays. Cartoons back in the day, like the '90s, amazing. Cartoons now, oh, just don't
Yeah,
make them.
Rutro.
Yeah, don't make them.
Yeah, I can't stand that Teen Titans remake they did.
Yeah, and that thing had a like crossover with like the new Powerpuff Girls or some shit. Whatever.
Yeah,
Um, so I've been reading Tower of God, and like I don't like reading. Irby knows I don't like reading, but
yeah,
I think I started on chapter maybe 50. I'm almost on chapter. Oh no, I just passed chapter 200. I have not been able to stop reading it. It's basically about this boy who was like trapped in a cave, and he had like a little light from like under the cave, like outside light, and this girl
yeah,
found him, and to him she like brought him out of the darkness, so like she's everything to him. Well, she wanted to see stars, so she decided to climb this tower with a whole bunch of challenges by like the god of that area, and he went to chase her. So like he's trying to chase this girl, and like this poor guy just keep be betrayed and used and abused, and it's like damn. And it's just so good. It's like if I had to compare it to something realistic as far as like the things you see that's like unexpected, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's like Game of Thrones with all the twists and turns and the shocking fucking oh my god factors. Then like no matter what, every time I see this specific character in a chapter, the comments are filled with hate for her. Even though she's barely there, this character this author made her so hated.
Yeah.
Have you guys been like reading or watching anything interesting?
I've been watching my
Nope.
eyelids. Well,
You
I
said
I take that
eyelids?
back. I read I read some books. I finished most most people don't know like Crazy Rich Asians is actually like a 3 book series. So I listened to the first book and then I listened to the next series and it's pretty. It kind of gives like a culture shock into what what it's like to be like crazy rich and how they have a whole different set of rules and standards of who's acceptable to marry and stuff along those lines. So
Hmm.
it gave a good insight. I'm big into like detective books. I started a new one about a officer that lost her she lost her dad in like a riptide and he just ended up like dying or something. And well he of course he died, but like she went through like a course of things and like now she's like I got to be a cop and she likes helping people. So it's pretty good. And yeah, I probably get through a couple books a week.
Man, I ain't read a book in 7 years. And I think the last book I read was it's called like Dancing with the Devil.
Yeah.
It
I'm
was
not.
about it was about a artist that was on Bad Boy and basically talked about his life, his time on Bad Boy. Um, I don't know if you can consider it facts because this guy clearly has some bad blood with P Diddy. So you basically got to take it with a grain of salt. But I do know
Yeah.
some of that stuff was corroborated by this guy named Gene Deal. Used to, I believe he was a bodyguard for Bad Boy and uh, and Biggie. That's the last book I read though.
I can't remember the last book I read, man. My mom used to bribe me to read books. I just hated reading, but she loves reading, and she wanted me to like share her passion for reading. But nah, every time I picked up a book, my ass be asleep.
Well, I used to read books all the time when I was a kid. Like my grandmother had me a little bookshelf in my bedroom, and it was filled with books. So whenever I went to go visit her on the weekends and everything like that, I was always reading when we had nothing else to do. And like she gave me like it was basically an incentive for me to read. Like she said, any book you read, I'll give you some money. So I was going through those books like it was candy. I
Yeah, my
probably
mom
read
used to do that when I was little too.
Bribe you to read.
yeah,
Yeah.
I probably read every single one of those books 5 times for real. And anytime she get me a new book, I destroy it right there in that one day.
I
I
told my
said
mom this years later, but I told her that like I never actually finished any of her books. I just like read most of the chapter and then went to the next one.
damn, that is terrible. I
My
said there is
mom,
a oh go ahead.
no, go ahead, man.
I said there is a series that I like reading. It's the Mitch Rap series. Um and like I enjoyed it. It has like 18 18 books and like I'd listen to him on tape. I'd read the books when they didn't have them on tape and basically it's about like a secret agent that like does like counterterrorism and stuff. So and it he says he gets into it because terrorists killed his girlfriend when they was flying like over to like Ireland or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and so like he wants to like protect the country now, and he feels like a duty, and like he he saves the world pretty much like a few times. It's a good book,
Mm.
but you can go ahead, Tone.
You know what? I actually lied. Dance with the Devil was not the last book I read. The last book I read, it was a book called The Rap Yearbook, and it started from the very first rap song or album that ever came out, all the way up until I believe the book came out in 2015, so it went up to there. I never finished it. I think I had like a couple chapters left, but it basically breaks down like the most popular songs that year. It highlights different songs and groups and stuff like that. It was actually a really interesting book. I never finished it because I have no idea what happened to it. I haven't seen that book in years,
Hmm.
but it was pretty good. But my mom, I don't know if she still does, but when I was a kid, she used to read books all the time, like all those Daniel Steele books and shit like that. The only book of hers that I ever read, and I forgot what the book is called, but it was about these two girls that brutally murdered this older lady. I think it happened out in California. So the book basically highlights their upbringing. I know one girl was being she was being molested by her. I think it was her father or stepfather. Um, the other girl. I believe she was. I know she was abused, but I don't remember what form. And when they wound up meeting each other, they just decided one day they were going to go out and murder this lady. And they stabbed her so many times that they wound up breaking the blade.
Damn.
I believe this happened like in the 80s. Now they're both out of prison now.
I would say that I thought that sounded like a true story.
Yeah, it was a true story. Yeah, it was brutal, man. Um, oh, and my mom got me into reading Iceberg Slim books when I was a kid too. Like
Yeah.
I read Pimp Story of My Life. I read Black Mama Black Widow, something like that. And then there was another Iceberg Slim book I read, but I don't remember which one it was. And interestingly enough, my eighth grade teacher let me do a book report on the Pimp book. I couldn't believe she let me do it. And she caused so much backlash from other teachers because I'd be in other classes reading this book. And she was like, hey, listen, I mean, obviously you're interested in this, so I'm going to go ahead and allow you to do this. Just do me a favor and just don't read this book in other classes because I'm catching heat for it. But I appreciate her for it though. She let me do it.
Man,
Yeah,
listen.
it's those teachers you gotta love that like foster a child's love for learning. Uh,
Yeah,
Or for
'Cause
violence. This nigga was probably just into the violence. I don't know if it was violent.
yeah, exactly. That there actually wasn't there wasn't much violence. It was basically just a pimp from Chicago that was talking about his life, his upbringing, how he got into pimping, what life was like when he got into pimping, and when he was trying to make his transition out of pimping,
Mm.
yeah,
So
and
interesting enough.
also how he got his name.
Interesting enough. Like I was kind of like a teacher's pet for like math, just math in elementary school. But like towards high school, I just stopped caring about school in general. But
yeah.
like
You just stop caring
another.
for life in general.
Shut the fuck up, Irby. again, like going back to like why I think anime is more interesting than like American cartoons. It's like it makes things you wouldn't find interesting normally so much more interesting. Like I found myself watching anime about like cooking, like a Master Chef type of deal. I found myself watching anime about tennis, basketball, but like most interesting. And Irby, I think Irby's read this or saw it. I found myself watching an anime called Doctor Stone, where like the whole world gets turned into stone, and this kid who's like really into science he gets revived and like he starts like building science related shit using science to like bring the world back to a modern age because everything's gone. It's been like 3,700 years since they been turned to stone. So like this anime has made a subject like science, which I took no interest in, seem so interesting. To where like if the world really did go to shit, I would rewatch it just to write down everything I might need to know.
Yeah. I did start watching Doctor Stone because it's pretty, it's interesting, man. Like, I was like, oh man, all the science stuff in here. I was like, I want to go build some of the stuff he's building now.
Right?
So,
Like this man made a fucking cell phone tower. Like I got to the last episode and like I tried to hit next and there were no more episodes. Like no.
it's getting good, man. Like, I
Oh,
read the
you're reading the
stuff.
manga? Yeah.
Yeah, it's it.
I probably won't start reading it until because like that's an anime you can definitely read. It's not too action based, so I won't really
Yeah,
start reading it probably until after I finish Tower of God.
yeah. It's man, it just gets crazy. I'm trying to, cause that's the part where they're trying to gather intel on old boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like he just made the cell phone and like I guess that was the end of this season. The next season is gonna be the fight between the Village of Science and then the Tsukasa Empire.
yeah, yeah. Oh man, whew, you in for some treats, man. I see some stuff. I'll be like, damn, I knew it, I knew it.
So another interesting thing, guys, for anyone who doesn't know who's new to this podcast, I also have a gaming channel, Simply Gaming. I don't know when it's going up, but eventually a series Jack 2 will be going up. And you know, when you're a kid, you don't really appreciate stories in games as much as when you can like understand them when you're older. And Jack 2 so far has a very mysterious fucking story. Have either of you guys played Jack and Daxter?
No.
I have. Um, I just don't remember it much.
Nah, have you played Jack 2?
I can't remember.
Okay, so Jack and Daxter, you know, was a straightforward platforming game where you just, you know, get item and defeat boss. Get all items for a true ending, blah blah blah. You know, very stereotypical game.
Yeah,
Jack 2 made it seem like it took place in the future. But as you go on in the game, they give you reasons to think you're in the past. But they also give you more reasons to think you're in the future. So I'm like, wait, now both my theories have weight. Are we in the past or are we in the future? And now I'm like in the middle of just trying to figure that out because if you remember the green sage who like kept yelling at you in Jack and Dexter, telling you to do shit,
yeah,
he's also in Jack 2. But the one you run into doesn't remember you. And then eventually you go to the prison you were at and then you release the one that actually remembers you and there's two of them. And in the game they admit to being the same person and he actually calls the one in the future his younger self. So I'm like, wait, so if that's his younger self, did we actually travel in the past and life had like a Dr. Stone moment where like something happened and like they started over from the beginning? Or a Horizon Zero Dawn moment. But like I had this past theory before this encounter happened, so like it ended up giving my theory weight and I was just like really curious about it more than anything to see like, are we in the past or are we in the future? What's going on in this story?
Yeah.
Has there been any games that like confused you in an interesting way like that, guys?
Well, now since you say that, there's a I remember reading the books, Animorphs, and like you had to like guess what was going to happen, and then you had to like read it and go to like a certain page. And what you saying that made me think about it.
Hmm.
But I haven't had any games like that. I do like the games that what is it like Splinter Cell Double Agent was like that where you had to play both sides and like depending on what happened you would affect the outcome. So, but I don't think I've played many games like that where you're like you don't really know what's happening.
Yeah. Um. What about you,
I
Tom?
can name one. Death Stranding. I still have no idea what I did or what was going on. I couldn't tell you.
I can tell you, day one, I did not want to play that. Once I saw gameplay, I did not want to play that game. It looks so interesting in E3.
Nah.
I was a glorified uh, U.S. postal delivery man.
Yeah.
So to this day, I still don't understand the game, and it doesn't help when the guy who made the game doesn't even understand what the hell he made. So it's like, bruh, Hideo Kojima, you kind of need to get over yourself, homie.
So there are two more games that like really surprised me in a story based way. One I played with Tony, and like just me saying that might actually jog his memory to it.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
All right. I feel like you haven't been talking much. You want to tell the story?
I don't really remember too much. So the game is called A Way Out, and basically what it is these two guys are trying to break out of prison, and that's really all I can remember.
Yeah.
I do remember the twist ending, but I don't remember what led up to that twist ending. I don't remember.
All right. So A Way Out is basically a forced co-op game. You like literally need to play it with someone else, where you're both in prison and we both break out and we're basically trying to use each other to get to safety. So like we go on this huge journey together where we're trying to I think I was trying to track someone down and I think he was too. But we find out towards like 3 quarters toward the end no, actually I think it's just at the end because that's at that point we separate. Towards the end, the guy Tony was controlling was actually being playing both sides. He was a Fed, undercover Fed. So this nigga done tried to arrest me. And when I tell you the pure shock, the pure genuine shock I had when that happened, I felt like Tony knew all along and he betrayed me. And I felt betrayed by Tony personally. I said I would vow if it was possible I would kill him in the game. And it turns out at the end of the game you have a fight sequence where only one of you can live. You like both have health bars and like you're both doing these like quick time events and shooting each other, blah blah blah, and like it's one of those cliche things where like the gun's on the ground and someone has to get to it first, or and then that person dies, and I don't know how I did it. I got lucky and I ended up killing Tony, and I was like, I told you I was gonna kill your ass, you traitor son of a bitch. That game surprised
Yeah.
me. That game like really fucking surprised me with that
Clearly,
turning point.
Carlos has issues.
He does. He can't see no one else get better than he.
This was a team effort. This was a team effort. He betrayed me. I was hurt.
I will
I
say
trusted him.
one game that did really piss me off that had to do with betrayal was Grand Theft Auto Vice City. when Lance Vance betrayed you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that really hurt my heart. 'Cause I didn't want to kill him, and I didn't want to kill him because he was black. I ain't gonna lie to you. But listen, man, yo, these niggas rushed my mansion like Scarface. Homies sold me out. I don't remember how. It's been so long since I played that game, so I can't tell you how I got sold out. I believe it had something to do with your old mob bosses that were back in Liberty City. I think he wound
Yeah.
up getting connected with them. But I will say one of the most heartbreaking ones was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas when your own homies you grew up with killed your moms. That
Mm.
was tough. That was a tough pill to swallow.
Yo,
Like
man,
that
that twist in
that
the end,
hurt.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, so when you got to kill Big Smoke and Ryder and Officer Tenpenny and his partner, that was super gratifying.
I'd say. Oh, do you
And
remember?
them
Do
niggas
you
used
remember
and
that?
abused you.
Yeah.
So do you remember that helicopter mission? And I
Fuck.
can't. I think it was Vice City.
I was gonna say, fuck
And,
the helicopter mission. That fucking train mission in San Andreas is atrocious.
man, I now that I'm thinking about it, that was one of the most satisfying moments because I think I stopped playing for a good 5 months.
For
Just
me, it was the zero missions with the remote with the RC stuff.
yeah.
I hated
Oh
that. It
man.
was so annoying. Like I beat that game a good 10 times, and every time I beat it, or every time I got to that part, I dreaded it. I did not want to do it.
Yeah, shit was terrible.
So another game that like really surprised me, story wise, was Horizon Zero Dawn. Have I don't think Irby played it, but Tone, you played it, right?
Yeah.
Mm,
Irby, did you play it or watch it or anything?
no, I did not.
Okay, so like what amazed me about this story and like mind you, I don't like reading, but this game made me want to read everything in it because of like what was actually going on. So like when they show off this game, when you see the trailer of this game, you're led to believe it's like you're in this prehistoric time where there are dinosaurs, but the dinosaurs happen to be made on machines. So like although you seem like you're like back in time, it also like seems like you're in the future because of the machines. So like you're playing through it and it's cool. It's a cool game. The mechanics are cool. You know, it's very fluid, very beautiful. But as you progress in the game, you start uncovering the truth about it, and like, you know, anyone who wants to play and don't want it spoiled, you might want to skip ahead a few. But if you haven't played it by now, then tough luck anyway. You start to learn that like the robots come from a society that were made to help make life better, but this guy like started corrupting machines. So what happened is like the overall big machine had a failsafe to like restart the population and kill off everything, and then the machines would like bring life to the earth again. So they were just like started from scratch, and they would have people in bunkers. So like, cause you know you can't kill people off and start them from scratch. And like the world you're in now is just like a series of starting over multiple times and rebuilding with these machines. And then Aloy, the reason she's so important is because the machine somehow made it so that she looked exactly like the creator of the machines. And like I could have explained it so much better. Well, me per se probably not, but like it's such an interesting like story behind like great gameplay.
I
Yeah, I
don't.
could dig it.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember anything from that game, but I do. I do know I really did enjoy that game. It was fun. It was really fun. I actually might go back and play that again. I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I never bought the DLC, and when they
It's
made
probably
me
cheaper now.
back then, I wasn't make. I couldn't afford it, even though it was $20. You mean Carlos? You know what tight
Yeah.
spot we were in when we yeah. So that $20 I would have regret spending because knowing my ass, I would have ran out of gas on my car and I had no way to get to work. So I couldn't do it back then, but now I probably should go back and get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it now that I saw it. Because I downloaded the game. I plan on playing on my channel on like the hardest difficulty because I hear it's unfair. And like I
Hmm.
really like the game and it might be something fun to do. But I'm actually playing this I told you about I think I told you about it. I know you've heard of it, and I think Irby's heard of it too. It's called Vampire, like with a Y.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna buy that today.
Yeah, it's like $17 or something like that.
How is it?
I I love it. I'm in.
Okay.
Like I'm completely into the story. And I've been recording it and like I like the music, I like the eerie background. It seems like you get a it's like it's one of those games where like your consequences have actions depending on how you play the game. Like you can play it how you want, but you might make it easier or harder on yourself depending on how you do it.
Hmm.
I like it. I can't wait to get further into it.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna buy that game today. Trying to think. So you guys ever have played a game that brought you close to tears? Carlos, this probably doesn't apply to you. 'Cause you ain't got no feelings, but
When you say close to tears, do you mean like frustration tears or like tears like oh my
nah,
god I beat it tears?
Why
nah.
you had to do me like that, bro?
It's almost nah tears as in like yo like this game emotionally got to me. Like someone died or something like that, and it almost brought you to tears.
I'm pretty sure I probably had some, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
A game?
Uh, yeah.
Oh man, that's hard. That's really hard. I gotta be. You know how invested in that story I need to be. Okay, all right. All right. Now, when you say brought you to tears, like it can be like just teared up, like not necessarily cry, right?
Yeah, yeah, something that yeah.
Okay, so um, The Last of Us and The Walking Dead, Telltale Games. Like they had a couple moments where like I was just invested to the story to the point where like something really emotional happened and like it actually got me to tear up a little.
I honestly can't think of one, but I'm pretty sure I've run into that game. I just can't think of it right now.
Nigga, it was your time. What?
Yeah.
Oh man, this motherfucker, bro. So like all right. So you got Tony played The Last of Us, so he probably knows what moment I'm talking about on The Last of Us. And like The Last of Us is such a popular game. I'm pretty sure anyone who's played it, listening to this, knows what moment I'm talking about.
Actually, you know
For
what? I can probably say The Last of Us, and I'm going to tell you why it was The Last of Us. It was because it was when the main character's Joel his daughter died. Any
I
ever
wasn't.
since
I have to be emotionally invested. At that point, I was just like, okay, opening scene.
well I'll tell you why. Anytime I'm a parent, so anytime I read anything about a child getting hurt, getting killed, going missing, like it that for me that hits home because of like I said I'm a parent, so I automatically think about what how I would be in that moment if something happened to my son. And if anyone knows me, you know I'm very protective of my son, and I even tell my child this every day. If anything ever happened to you, this world will burn because I love my son with all my heart. And like I said,
Oh,
anyone that
thanks,
knows me,
Dad.
yeah, whatever name. anyone anyone that knows me, they know that. So that's why like anything that ever happens to children, whether it be real life, TV shows, movies, video games, like it does hit a little closer to home. For me, it does at least.
That's
Yeah, I can
understandable.
understand that. But yeah, I'm really trying to think, because that
For
I
me, it
know I'm
was
like
just like
that
the
with like
part.
books.
Oh, go ahead, Ruby.
Yeah, I would say I know like books or like TV shows. I'm like, oh man, it's very touching.
Oh, like TV shows. Okay, I have like three things like show related, but like for in the Last of Us, it was more the part where like what is her name, Ellie?
Yeah.
Ellie thought Joe was dying and like she couldn't get to him, and like yeah, pretty much that. But it's hard. I haven't seen it in forever, but like I know I got emotional towards that part. As for like TV shows, the first Pokemon movie when Ash turned to stone, that got me as a kid.
Nigga, that's a movie, not a TV show.
Oh, movie, TV show, same thing. But there was an episode of Pokemon where like Ash thought Pikachu wanted to stay with like other Pikachu's, so he like tried to leave, and like that one almost got me. Actually, I think it did get me. I think I cried a little because like at that point, like when you watch Pokemon when you're a kid, like you feel like you grow up with Ash, but now he's still 12 and you like 20 something, and
Yeah, it's like, nigga, go get a job.
yeah, why you still 12, nigga? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Um, Sons of Anarchy, two scenes in Sons of Anarchy. And Urbius watched this, so he knows he'll know what I'm talking about. The scene when the Irishman kidnapped April and he's leaving the boat and like Jack just breaks down and screams. And then the scene where Jack, the last season where says goodbye to his sons, because like you already know he's not gonna see them ever again, and that to me that was just like really emotional.
Yeah. Um, the only TV show that ever really brought me to tears like that was The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and it was the episode
The
where,
father scene.
yeah, that's always been tough for me,
Why you don't want me, man?
and mainly because, like, okay, there was a statistic that came out years ago where I think it was like 70% of African American children born in the United States don't know who their father is. And anyone that was born in the 80s, that was the crack era, you know. So I was born in the crack era. So I'm very lucky and fortunate that, neither one of my parents messed with that shit. Even though they both had their vices, still happy to know, like, my father was still in my life and that my mom did what she could to provide for me and my sister. So yeah, that right there definitely hit home because I just thinking to myself like, what would I do if I didn't ever have my father in my life or my dad treated me the way Will Smith's father treated him. So I'm very lucky and fortunate that my dad has been with me my entire life.
I say for me, it's shoot, it's always the I'm a big Naruto fan, so when watching Itachi having to kill his whole family gets me every time. I'd be like, man, just like to
I
know
think
what he goes through.
I think it was more like and Naruto didn't get me at all like in an emotional way, but like I think it was more like it would be more heartbreaking that after Sasuke kills him in the next series Shippuden, you learn the real reason Itachi slaughtered everyone and like the whole time he was
Yeah,
just protecting Sasuke. And then Sasuke
yeah, and
gets like
then
really demented and tries to destroy the league. Sasuke was a very bipolar kid, man. That nigga
yeah,
had issues.
and what else gets me is like the fact that they treat Naruto so bad for no reason, and he's just trying his best to be liked and try and help out the village, and they're just like, "Oh, get out of here!" Da, 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 and he's not doing anything bad, you know. So
Yeah.
it kind of that's like I guess you kind of could equate it to being like a black kid and walking into a store, and the owner's like, "Oh, follow him around," and you know, it's so like, cause I had experience like that where like I went to it was me and my sister, and we went to buy some Pokemon cards. And for the life of us, the lady was just being like mean to me for some reason. And my sister says, "Well, you ain't gotta be mean to my brother and this and that." So it you know it's kind of like one of those ones where like you wish they would treat him better just because you know everyone deserves to be treated with respect and like dignity. But like as it goes on, you can like understand and like basically he earns their like respect. So they changes their mind. So it's like kind of like a story of redemption,
Mm-hmm.
but still,
See, like I was fortunate enough to like I don't think anyone I grew up with had to deal with something like that.
yeah,
Like I don't know for sure, but everyone I was close to, like for the most part, you know, in high school we all had our cliques or whatever, but like there wasn't like bullying or anything to like an extent where like, oh man, this kid might kill himself.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. That see, we weren't like that, and like times were changing, like when we started growing up too. Like people became more tolerant of stuff, so we kind of was like on the cusp of. It's still not the best, but it's still you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it that Naruto makes me tear up. Dragon Ball Z not so much because Goku. I already know Goku finna win everything. One Piece
Well,
cheered me up when Ace died.
oh man, Ace dying is, oh man,
Cause he didn't have to die. All he had to do was keep his mouth shut and run away. But he
yeah, that was
couldn't
rough.
understand the bag mouth.
I mean, that didn't get me as much as like when Luffy started freaking out and then like he realized what he still had. And like it's amazing the things you can learn from like cartoons and like TV shows and like just things you watch. Like people think like watching too much TV is bad for you. It's really not. Like you can learn a lot of things from like shows. Like in that specific arc right after Ace died and Tony just to catch you up. So like and I've told you about the show One Piece. It's like my favorite show. It's like he's a pirate who wants to be like king of the pirates. So he's gathered a crew of friends that he trusts with his life, and like as they get further on the journey, they keep coming across stronger and stronger people. They get to this specific island, and like um let's say they come across like people in the government. They're like it's taboo to go against, but Luffy he's a free spirit, and like if you mess with any of his friends, he doesn't care who you are. He'll pick a fight with you. So like he picks a fight with this person high up in the government hierarchy, and like summons like a navy admiral and like a fleet to the island, and like their crew gets overwhelmed and they get separated. Well, while they're separated, um, his brother Ace, who was on a different pirate ship, who's actually a commander, was chasing this guy who committed mutiny on their ship, and he was under his brigade, so he felt it was his responsibility to bring the guy to justice. So they get into a fight, and like Ace loses the fight, and like the Navy captures him. Like the guy turns him in to like become a warlord, and what a warlord is, it's like a pirate being backed up by the government as long as they take care of other pirates. So the Navy makes a public announcement that they're gonna execute Ace at a certain time. So Luffy, seeing the news, decides to go try to rescue his brother. After a hellish fucking fight, he finally saves him, and then like one of the admirals um starts taunting him with words, and like he turns around and he dies, unfortunately, in front of Luffy's eyes. Fucking blew a fucking hole in his chest. So Luffy, after fighting and like he broke into a prison to try to free Ace, and like learned he was being executed, so broke into the execution ground. He's taken like so much damage. When he finally gets like to a safe area, he was in such shock that like when he woke up, he just went like berserk and like just started breaking things. So Jinbei, someone he an ally he made, like kept like trying to remind him, it's like, yo, I know what you've lost, but like, what do you still have? And like, it's one of those things that you gotta remember. It's like, yo, life gets hard sometimes, and like you're gonna lose things important to you, but like, just because you lose something important to you doesn't mean you should like ignore everything you still have.
Hmm. That's deep.
That yeah, that was like that part hit harder for me than like Ace dying, because like you kind of knew Ace was gonna, like, it happened too many times where I was like, nah, they're just nah, you know, I don't know.
Nah, I didn't care about Ace dying. I just said it because I thought you cared about Ace dying.
Alright, man. I believe some things are necessary to like progress a story, and Ace dying was necessary to progress the story.
Real nigga
Shoot.
shit, yo.
um, Damn, I think there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I can't exactly remember what it was.
Hmm.
Hmm. What have you been reading lately, Irby?
I
Or have you
I
just been
finished
working
up
on the Gundams?
Black Clover. I'm at the entrance exam where the guy like reveals himself to be under mind control. Um, I don't know how far you are in that. And then
I want to say I might be ahead of you, but well, no, the anime should never be ahead of the manga. But that
yeah.
sounds very familiar. I don't know.
Well, there's more chapters out, but they're the only two I could get from the library right now.
Gotcha.
And then yeah, I just been reading some books, trying to open up my brain a little bit. So I was reading yeah, I listened to some podcasts. One of my favorites is Swindled.
Next to the
That's
Big
one.
Sin podcast, of course.
Yeah, that one. Sometimes, you know, I feel like if you live it, you ain't gotta relive it. You know what I'm saying?
It's all
So
good, brother. I don't listen to either.
yeah,
That's
I
real
mean,
nigga shit, yo.
listen from time to time, but you know, if I'm there, I don't need a reminder. But yeah, some stuff, some worldly shit, you know, trying to learn how to relate to people.
Um, I will say I do want to get back into reading the Gears of War books because at one point I actually was reading them, and they're actually quite interesting because they do give you a lot of backstory on how everything got started. It lets you know like what I don't remember what the last one I've read, but I believe the last one I read took place between the first and the second game, and possibly even the second and the third game. So it's been so long since I've read these books, but I would like to get back into reading them. Um, I do. I am a podcast connoisseur. I listen to one of my favorite ones is probably Brilliant Idiots. It's like a pop culture podcast, and it's funny as shit. It's like one of the first podcasts I ever listened to. But I listen to another one that I really do like is it's called Crime Town, and out of the first season, they did Providence, Rhode Island. I think the second season is what I'm listening to now. It's taking place in Detroit. Basically, the corruption in politics, the crime that takes place in these cities and stuff. It's actually really interesting. Um, I listen to serial killer podcasts, conspiracy theory podcasts, uh, female killer or female criminal podcast. I'm all over the place with the podcast.
Yeah, I got those for days.
I like
So another
um
one.
I like things that like I like things like escape rooms and things like that. Like I want to do another escape room.
Yeah, me too, man. In the worst way.
Shoot. Hmm. I would say, I got no escape room you can try to escape from, but I don't know if you'll do it.
No, we did it the first time we did it. We got out of
No, I said I know one you can try.
there.
What do you mean?
Yeah, try escape from a prison cell.
Oh.
Seen it. I'm good.
Nah.
Fuck.
But I did do escape room. I enjoyed it. Um, they're pretty good. I
I
like
just
those.
like things that like make you think. You know what I mean? Like
But you don't like to read, pick up new concepts.
no, unfortunate. And it's just reading puts me to sleep, man. Like my mind is really like restless sometimes. Where like okay, so like when I actually focus on reading, it's hard for me to be focused on it because I'll be reading, but like I'll be thinking about two other things at the same time, and like I by the time I realize like I'm thinking about other shit, I won't know what the fuck I read. So like I end up stuck on the same page or the same chapter because my attention span when I'm reading is like I really can't control what I'm thinking about half the time. Like it makes it hard to sleep sometimes too because my head is like my brain is like restless.
Yeah, I definitely do get that way as well.
Yeah.
I wind up losing focus on what I'm doing and just I. There's a lot of times where I can't sleep at night because I cannot shut my brain off.
Yeah, it's just like that's why I tell people like, hold on, I'm doing something. It's like it's not that I can't multicast. It's just like I'm not gonna fully grasp one of the things I'm doing if I am multitasking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. So do we have anything else? Anything
Uh,
interesting? Anything coming up? Oh, Konami released did a sneak release on a game called I think Skeletak, and it like, actually looks really interesting. It looks fun.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't interested in nothing Konami got to put out. Even though,
It
even
doesn't look
though,
like a cash grab though. It's just it's one of those like um platformers like action platformers. What do I want to compare it to? Hmm. Did you play medieval?
no.
I was about to say it's like a side scroller version of that. I would say.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing. Anything Konami does, I don't give a fuck about. Like, even though I used to be, I used to be a huge fan of Hideo Kojima and really had belief in everything that he was doing. Mainly that had to do with Metal Gear Solid. Um, the way that they did him is it's fucked up how they did him, and then they basically made Metal Gear Solid 6 into a fucking pachinko machine. So it's like, fuck y'all, man. Like I can care less what Konami puts out, what Konami does, and then they basically bastardized Metal Gear Solid with that bullshit ass Metal Gear Solid Survive shit.
Oh man, can I tell you how sad I was when Quiet had to leave us in Metal Gear Solid 5?
When who?
Quiet, the girl, they couldn't talk,
Oh yeah, yeah,
but she
yeah,
like fell in love with you.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, no, my baby girl. I had so much good. That game has so much replay value. It's amazing.
Um,
What?
none. Um, okay, so actually there is one thing we can talk about. There's actually a couple things we can still talk about. One of them being which I know you guys might not care about, but It has to do with the exclusive license for Madden. So, I don't know if you guys heard. I know we talked about this a little bit last week. How um, EA another exclusive deal with the NFLPA until 2025. Apparently, they came extremely close to losing out on this deal, and it's the first time since they first signed this exclusivity deal that they came dangerously close to losing it. The NFL almost let that license be open to let multiple companies make football games. But apparently EA came in and really wowed them with a presentation about the way that they're going to do Madden in the future. So my thing is why, like, I understand why you want to be, you know, why you kind of want to start going all out right now, but it kind of feels like, you should have been doing this years ago. Like, you really screwed over your fan base with these lackluster Madden games that you've been putting out in the past. And from what it's sounding like, this exclusivity deal that they have, it can actually end quite early. And it's sounding more and more like we may get an NFL 2K simulation football game sooner rather than later.
But you know what I don't like about sports games is their need to feel like they have to put out a game every year. Okay, so like you want to put out a game every year, but you want to charge. Like I think we mentioned it like in a previous episode, or
You did.
I think we did, where like
Send another
um
one, or
when you spend all year trying to level up a player, a custom player, and then like by the time you get them where you want them to be, the next game is out. Instead of, and mind you, these sports games, like they basically try to force you to spend money, right? So
hmm
why don't you, instead of giving me a game that's pretty much going to be exactly the same, but probably worse as the game I'm playing right now, why don't you take the money that I'm unwillingly giving you? You're basically making me give you, and why don't you use that money to fix the game that I'm playing right now, and then release a game in the next 2 or 3 years? Why don't you just stop with the 2K 2020? Just like 2K1. 2K1 is going to be out for 2 to 3 years. Over the course of those 3 years, we're going to release updates to make this game better and better.
well, the reason why, and I actually just learned this, the reason why is because every year that they put a game out, the NFL the NFL does make money off these games. They do get a cut of the microtransactions. So in their eyes, the NFL's like, let's put out a game every year because out of that $60 that we spend for Madden, I'm pretty sure they're getting like anywhere from $10 to $30 off that game. And then let's say EA makes $1 million in microtransactions every month. Um, NFL is probably getting anywhere from 200 to 500,000 of that every single month. So why not put out a new product every year? Because we already know you motherfuckers is going to buy it. We know you motherfuckers are going to spend all this money on opening packs and shit like that. We know you're going to do that. So we are going to continue to keep putting this same shit out because you haven't proven us wrong yet.
That is true. That's why I don't buy video games like that, like I used to. Well, sports ones anyway.
Yeah, what they're not realizing is that like the at some point they're gonna lose that consistent fan base. The only people that are gonna be buying are the YouTubers that spend money on shit like that. And like, yeah, they're spending a lot of money on your game, but at some point, if all the only people playing your game are YouTubers and like streamers, you're not gonna make decent money off that game.
Yeah, but see, for them, these YouTubers and streamers, that's just free promotion for their game. That's how they see it as, because they don't have. Because you look at it this way, they're not spending any marketing money on these streamers streaming these games or these YouTubers making videos on these games. So that's
No, but
why
some of
people
them have
don't.
like sponsorships.
Yeah, some of them do have sponsorships, but do you think it costs more to sponsor somebody or to spend money on marketing?
True, true.
Because no matter where you market, it ain't free. You market on YouTube, it ain't free. TV, it ain't free. Radio, it ain't free. I would rather,
It,
let me give this YouTuber like $1,000 a month to be sponsored instead of having to spend millions of dollars a month just on advertising alone. And
I
then
still
you
think
look
it's
at it this,
amazing. Go ahead.
and then you look at it this way on 2K. If you walk to their neighborhood, they're advertising fucking Nike, um, Reese's Puffs, Gatorade. Like these companies pay to be in that game. So any money that they spend on marketing or even uh, getting behind certain YouTubers and shit like that, they're only getting that money back from people paying to have billboards or special events in these games. Because in their eyes, well, we put this in this game. My folks like, yo, you know what? Let me go out and try some Reese's Puffs. Or you know what? It's been a while since I bought a pair of Nikes. Let me go get a brand new pair of Nikes. You know what I mean? It's all
Yeah.
about marketing.
Now I'm still amazed that like one of the YouTubers I watch, Grand Pooh Bear, he's sponsored by Red Bull as a speedrunner.
She only watched one YouTuber.
I know it ain't me.
Damn.
Nah, man, it was you,
Damn.
bro.
Shit, yo, I he never tells me where he leaves comments, so when I actually check the comments, it'd be hilarious the shit he be saying.
Yeah, I used to watch. What's that guy name? Rick Cackus, but I don't watch that no more. That's only because we was on our Destiny kick.
Fucking Destiny, man. Most
I don't.
disappointing game.
I don't really watch. I don't really watch YouTubers playing games. I'm not into the whole streaming thing. Like I never.
It's not your
I
stick.
can
It's
never.
cool.
Yeah, I just. I don't know. To me, I just could never figure out why, how someone could just sit there and watch the motherfucker play video games. That's just me. I can never understand it.
But you gotta
I mean,
understand, like some games, it's like watching a show. Like at some point, you're not really watching the YouTuber play as much as you're watching the game that, for whatever reason, you either can't play or you love so much you just want to see someone else go through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
see, I
mean, don't
only,
get me.
I only ever, yeah, I only ever watch if I needed. I couldn't get past this part and I needed help or something.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying I think there's something wrong with it. I could never understand it. And if it's a game that I don't plan on playing, I just don't fucking care. That's just me though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm trying to think of a game like any Mario game. I'm not a fan of Mario whatsoever. I don't
Mm.
care what people do in Mario. I just don't care. I think the only time I watch someone, and this is technically not even streaming, but there's a guy I watch on YouTube. His name is Shakedown, and he'll have like top 10 plays of the week in 2K. So I'll watch that, but I don't even watch that regularly. I'll probably watch it once a month, if that.
It's not something that interests you.
Yeah,
Like for
it's just
me,
not
I
something
watch
that
Mario games because it's like Mario's not the simple platforming game. You do they do crazy shit that like I don't have the time to learn how to do, nor do I want to do. So like and like it's still very entertaining. So like for me, it's just better off. I'd rather watch someone do it than like buy the game and try for hours to get good at this. You know what I mean?
yeah. Or sometimes like even this past week, like I've been watching how people play Warzone just to try to get different play styles, try to pick up different ways that I can get better. Like if I'm trying to get better at something, I will go on YouTube and type in the game and see how other people play it, see what other tips and tricks that I can try to pick up to try to get better myself. A lot of times that shit don't work, but still, you go on there and you try to watch it and see what's up. It's almost like I can equate to playing sports. Like, you know, no matter how good you are in basketball, if you don't travel to different cities and different states and play, you're only ever going to be the best in your neighborhood, in your city. You're never going to be the actual best. So when I was in high school, I traveled. I was the only person in my crew that played basketball together that actually went to different cities to play basketball. But that's how you get better because you can, like, if I'm playing the same guys over and over again, and I'm continuously beating them, I'm not getting any better. You're basically hitting your plateau. But if you go to these different cities, like I was going Atlantic City, Pleasantville, Summers Point, Sea Isle City. I was going up to North Jersey to play. I was playing ball down south. I was playing ball all over the place. I've even played ball in Fairbanks, Alaska. But that's how you get better. You learn from other people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, only sport I really played like officially joining the team was like tennis, and I'll be honest, the only reason I joined the tennis team is because I watched a tennis anime and it was really fucking interesting.
Yeah,
And
but
I damn
even
sure tried to use every move that I saw in the show that was physically impossible. But I damn sure tried to do it.
oh yeah, yeah, don't get me wrong, man. When I was in high school, me and my boy Mike, like we would see, you see these wacky ass layups that we see in video games or that we see professionals pull, and we would go out to the courts and practice those same layups for hours, never thinking that we'd actually use them in the game. What we were doing was we were going out there trying to perfect that. And even to this day, there are plenty of times where layups that I used to practice for hours upon hours when I was a teenager, yeah, I still use them to this day. It's just basically another form of perfecting your craft. Like we would go out and shoot what like close to 5,000 3 pointers a week. We put up about 10,000 jump shots a week. Like we were out there perfecting your craft, putting in your 10,000 hours, as they say.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Shit. I would, on the most terrible terrain, I would practice hitting the ball. Like in tennis, they have something called a drop shot, and I'm sure Irby plays a lot, so he knows what a drop shot is.
Yep.
But like in the anime Prince of Tennis, like this one main character used to do a drop shot that like wouldn't bounce; it would just roll. And in trying to do that, and I would practice like unstable ground. Like the terrain I played on was not something you should be practicing on. But like I knew there was no possible way I can make the ball just like not bounce and roll to the ground so like the other person couldn't get it. But like what I tried to do is I tried to put so much backspin on the ball that like and hit it so lightly that when it went to the other side, it would bounce backwards into the net. And like I actually got pretty good at doing it if I could get the shot lined up right.
Yeah. That's how my shot is. I got so much spin on it. Like I hit it the one time, and then it bounced back over to my side for they could hit it back to me. But the rules say they could reach over and hit it, but they just didn't.
My friend did that on me and he thought, "Oh wait, that counts as the rules say you can reach over and hit it because I heard that that was like your point if they did that."
Well, in that instance only, you can do it that way.
Hmm.
Any other time, it counts as their point.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, because we had to replay the point, then so I went home and looked it up.
Man, I'll tell you, bro. Tennis is a really fun sport. I really wish I had someone to play with.
You can get some tennis leagues.
What?
They have tennis leagues everywhere.
I think they have one in Ocean City, to be honest with you.
Nah, but I don't
Yeah.
want to play with white people. That's too much.
Oh my
Damn.
god.
They're too good. There's a different bro. When I tell you that when my school played against like every school in our area, it was like we would come close. Like yeah, we had some fair matchups. When we went to this white school, bro, like we got creamed.
Well,
But to be fair,
that's how you get
this white
better.
school
You got to
had the
go out there and compete
school.
against them.
They had a stadium. They had a gym. They had a basketball court, a tennis court. I was like, what the fuck is this place? We do not belong here.
Nah,
But
you
that's how you go
belong
to get
there.
better, but
You gotta get your skills up.
exactly.
Shoot, I would have been right in there trying to whoop their ass.
Oh, I
Oh, you
tried.
think you're finna slam on me? Nah, not today.
I think I was our second best player, and I wasn't that good.
Damn. Yeah, you was trash. I belong there.
But yeah,
Nah, I'm just kidding.
um, I'm curious to see how these next few years are going to be, especially with Madden. I have a feeling this year is going to be a wash because usually when a new sports game comes out on a new generation, when a sports game comes out on a new generation of consoles, it's usually never really that good, with the exception of NBA 2K14 because that introduced the parks. So that was maybe the one exception. So this year you can probably count as a wash. I don't think it's going to be that great, but they are going to have to ramp it up, especially for next year, because next year is when 2K's arcade football game comes out. And if that arcade game does better than Madden, then we may see, 2K or NFL going to 2K. All right, listen, we're terminating our exclusivity deal with EA. Balls in your court. What can you do with this?
Right.
And and I know this may sound far fetched, but I do believe, in deep down in my heart, that 2K has somewhat been working on a football engine. Like I feel like they already have the groundwork, and every year they're just taking maybe a few people from their development team and they're tweaking things here and there. But I do believe they have the groundwork set for a new simulation football game. They're just patiently waiting for them to get the chance to actually use it.
Hmm. I just really want to see a game I don't mind putting hours into, like a sports game. Like 2K has become so tiring, in my opinion. Though there
Yeah,
are
I
people
mean,
who will never get tired of it.
2K20's booty butt cheeks. I fucking hate that game. Um, there's only two 2K games that I've ever gotten rid of, and that was 17 and 20. They both sucked. Um, they were both really fucking terrible. Hopefully 2K21 is better. I'm not. I'm actually. This will be the first year in a long time I'm not buying a 2K game at launch. I'm not gonna get 2K for PS4 anyway. I'm gonna wait until PS5, but I'm going to wait a week after it drops to see, what are the pros of this game, what are the cons of this game, if it's even worth buying. Because if it's not worth buying, then I won't be buying it. Because I've
I
been
mean, but
consistently buying. I've consistently been buying 2K every year since 2K12. So if it's not good, then that streak is gonna fall because I'm not wasting my money on another lackluster basketball game.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, 2K20. I mean, 2K20. I mean, yeah, I don't want to say that I sucked at it because I really wasn't bad at it. It was just the dribbling wasn't good. The like I was still going on there dropping like 50, 60 points with my mod player. But it like the dribbling was bad. The pie charts were stupid. Like the same problem year in and year out. It's just come on, man. Like do something to fix this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I stopped playing it.
Okay, so another thing we could talk about is which I don't know if you caught this. I don't know if you recorded this. I know we were having issues with staying connected, but you know
Oh
everyone
no,
knows
that last
this.
episode, don't even worry about it. There was more issues than we thought with that. It's not getting uploaded. It was like
Okay,
a bad episode anyway.
okay, yeah, we struggled through that one. All right, so anyone that keeps up with entertainment news, um, so this Zack Snyder cut of Justice League is coming out next year on HBO Max. Um, Zack Snyder showed it to some AT&T and T and Warner Brothers execs. They ponied up about, or AT&T said, "Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna fund this." They gave him like 20 to 30 million dollars to finish with CGI and doing some reshoots here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am excited about it because I do really like the DC movies. Like I know a lot of people hate Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. I like Batman v Superman. Justice League definitely could have been better, but I'm not even going to put that on Zack Snyder for the simple fact that Josh Whedon went back and basically reshot the whole fucking movie. So I'm not
Right.
even going to put that. I'm not going to put that on Zack Snyder. Um, so another interesting thing that also came out was that Ben Affleck may be coming back to the DCEU to play Batman, and it's supposed to be on the script that he wrote for his solo Batman film that was supposed to come out last year. What's got me intrigued is they might be moving the DCEU to HBO Max, meaning that instead of releasing theatrical movies or movies in the theater, they may just be releasing the movies onto HBO Max.
Right.
And I and to be honest with you, I honestly think that's a good idea. I think that
Yeah.
could work. I honestly do think that can work. And a lot of people are saying that Ben or some execs who read Ben Affleck's script for his solo Batman film said that it was one of the greatest scripts they've ever read. So now I'm really curious to see what they do with the DCEU going forward. Like maybe they should just concentrate on putting that out on streaming services instead of release it in the theaters.
I could dig it. See, I like Ben Affleck when he was doing the Daredevil movies. I was like, yeah, he's
uh,
good. Everyone thought that movie was terrible. I thought it was pretty good.
yeah, I know a lot of people were against him being Batman in Batman v Superman. I loved his Batman. Like I loved how brooding he was, how just violent he was. Like yeah, I get it. Batman isn't supposed to kill, but Batman always kills. Whether it's indirect killing, but he still kills. You know, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I think some of these comic book motherfuckers like yo, just chill the fuck out. Like it's not that fucking serious, man.
But they
Yeah.
make it serious.
Well, I will say the whole Martha thing in Batman v Superman. Okay, I get it. That was stupid. But I will also say that Avengers: Infinity War had their own version of Martha when they're getting ready to get this Infinity Gauntlet off of Thanos, and, Chris Pratt's character is asking Star Lord is asking where Gamora is, and when he finds out that you know Gamora's dead, he basically beats the shit out of Thanos with the butt of his gun.
Yeah.
Like
He was the
you,
one the reason why there's a Avengers movie too.
basically. So like, and I know I had a discussion with my wife, and she vehemently disagrees with me. But I feel like yeah, that was just a plot device to get to where they needed to go, and I think they could have did something a lot better than that. I thought that was fucking stupid. To this day, I still think it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
not
was
too big on
mad.
the
I'm like,
Marvel movies, so I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, good thing we're not
There,
talking to you right now, then, huh?
damn.
Damn.
No,
There,
I'm
there
just
is,
kidding.
there is one Marvel movie that I'm extremely excited to see. I cannot wait for this to come out, and that is Blade.
Mm.
You know what
I
Raymond told me yesterday that he didn't want you to know.
what?
He's never watched Blade.
Oh God. You can honestly give credit to Blade for Marvel being where it is right now because Blade basically showed that you can. To me, Blade is one of probably top five best superhero movie of all time. Thanks to Blade, Blade basically kicked off the MCU because that was Marvel's first successful comic book movie that they had at that
Yeah,
time, and it was I mean it was better than the first Hulk movie. It was better than the Fantastic Four movies. But once you got the Iron Man, okay, Blade wasn't better than Iron Man, but
yeah. Iron
I,
Man was
I, I
pretty good.
yeah, but I am excited to see what Mahershala Ali can do with the Blade character. Really excited. And if I'm being honest with you, and I've said this before on the podcast, I can't wait until Marvel starts delving into their MCU horror verse. Like, I really want to see what they cook up with with their horror movie, with their horror Marvel movies. I really want to see how they handle that. Hell, I would even I somewhat have a feeling that they might try to work Blade into the Avengers. If he goes to the Avengers, that's going to be fucking crazy.
Hmm. Blade and the Avengers. That does sound kind of crazy. But
Well,
like
Blade and
with
Spider
movies
Man
like
work
that, it's
together.
so fuck. Yeah, but like with movies like that, it's so hard to imagine someone like a different actor playing that hero. You know what I mean? Or vigilante or whatever he classifies himself as.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be tough not seeing Wesley Snipes in that role, but Marshala Ali is a great actor, and I'm pretty sure that he'll be able to pull it off.
He
He is a phenomenal actor.
That's the guy that did the what you call him one, the Luke Cage one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for the man, I was kind of mad when they got rid of his character.
yeah. I was too. I wasn't expecting him to get killed.
I was like, what? I won't try to say all of that,
Well,
but
look,
yeah,
man, if you ain't seen it yet, then that's on you. You know what I mean? That fucking show's been out for years now.
So
fun
I'm
fact,
saying.
I haven't seen season two.
Well, he dies in season one, so
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I still haven't seen season two.
I don't remember season two at all. I couldn't tell you. I have to go back and watch them. Oh, and
Once,
apparently the Punisher's supposed to be in the MCU. I think either he's going to have his own movie or he's going to make a cameo in someone's movie, and it's going to be John Barenthal playing the Punisher like he did a TV show. That is going to be crazy because I like John Barenthal as the Punisher.
I don't think I watched. No, I didn't watch The Punisher.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
I like that. It, when he's like, oh, I'll tell him that Wilson Fisk killed him, and then he was like, I killed him. I was like, oh man. I was like, come on, man, because Fisk had that information.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I really like that show.
And then when he started talking to Homeboy's wife,
Yeah,
and just to get to Homeboy, I was like, man,
that was a great show.
it is.
Was it like you would say watch it? I mean,
I
I
I
might.
enjoyed it. Nah,
It's
you
just
don't
hard
listen
for
to
me to
any
make time
recommendations
for
we do.
It's hard for me to make time for new shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch too many new shows. You know, I mainly stick to movies and documentaries. That's where my lane is,
Yeah.
My lane. Stay in your lane, bro. Stay in your lane.
I be
basically.
swerving.
Skr, skr.
Shit.
Damn, we're going on 2 hours here.
Oh yeah,
Damn,
we are.
already?
Did you guys think of any songs for this week?
Hell no.
Yeah, I figured. It's
I
alright.
mean,
I got one.
I can come up with one.
Yeah, I mean they're
Yeah.
not hard to come up with, fortunately.
Yeah. I'd say yeah, the one I was telling you about the other day, what was it? It was J Mills Lemonade rap over the beat. That one goes kind of hard. You got to give it a listen one time.
Mm.
You won't though. I know you.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm honest.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to go with a song called "Down on My Luck" by Vic Mensa. That was basically my introduction to this artist. It was back in 2014. I mean, the song is nothing like no message to the song or anything like that. But the video I thought was crazy. It was video was almost like Groundhog's Day premise, where the video starts off with him walking in the club, something happens, then it starts all over again. So basically, any mistake that he made, at first he would go back and fix it. That's basically what the whole premise of the video was. It was good.
Yeah.
I
I
Hmm.
don't
don't
know
know
if
how
you
much
can.
Eminem recommendation.
I don't know if you can classify it as hip hop because it's not like a traditional hip hop song. It's like it's more of a club song.
Yeah.
I'm more so trying to figure out if I even have a song this week.
And if you don't have a song, I can always make a second one.
Shit.
Honorable mention.
Let me
I
think.
do got this song. It's by the Baker Boys. Uh,
Damn.
I think it's unreleased. Can't find it on YouTube anywhere.
Yeah, you can. On like,
Nah,
what episode is that?
I can't download
Um,
it to my iPod.
Shit, you can. You just gotta download the whole episode and then cut it,
Do I look like I know how to do that?
or ask me to send it to you.
Nah, that's too much work.
Well, since Lucifer doesn't have a song this week,
I
I
was
will
thinking.
recommend I will recommend a second one, and this is by who I honestly this woman is an absolute queen. She has a very angelic voice. I believe she's in her 50s, and she doesn't look a day over 20 years old. A, very beautiful. I'm talking about Sade, and one of my favorite songs of hers is called "Kiss of Life." And it's basically a love song, but it is really good, and it's a time like she makes timeless music. None of her music sounds dated. It still sounds fresh to this day. And yeah, I got to give it up to the Queen Sade, "Kiss of Life."
See, none of my suggestions have like a backstory to them. I'm gonna be the oddball again, and I'm gonna tell you guys to listen to Strike Back. Um, it's just put in Strike Back Fairy Tale opening, and then you'll find it. I like it. It's a has a really cool beat and You probably won't understand a word in it, but it sounds nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that was a good episode. I think it's a good
Yeah, it
episode.
was.
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up. Hey guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will catch you next week with I don't know what yet, but we're gonna catch you next week. See ya.
Peace.